furious world leaders are cutting Donald Trump out of the key alliances right now that are forming across the world. You have French President Emmanuel Macron announcing an alliance of nations to bring stability to the Middle East as the United States security umbrella has collapsed. You have in China right now both the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi from the United Arab Emirates, as well as the Prime Minister of Spain. They're both in China, separately meeting with Xi Jinping, talking about a new security umbrella in the Middle East and internationally, with China as the main superpower. And you have China's Xi Jinping saying a more robust and comprehensive strategic partnership between China and the Arab world must be built. And China's Xi Jinping told Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince that amid choices between peace and war and unity and confrontation, coordination must be strengthened. And he also said that the world is undergoing unprecedented changes. What that means is it's not so subtle code for China will be the new superpower, bringing stability to the region as the United States has collapsed under Donald Trump and his despicable regime. Trump is weak, Xi Jinping saying we are strong and we are going to build a new security umbrella. But it's not just what's coming out of China, what's coming out of French President Emmanuel Macron. You also have right now President Zelensky of Ukraine talking about Ukraine's leadership in the Middle East and how it is building security umbrellas there, and how Zelensky met with the leaders of Middle East nations who really need Ukraine's cutting edge military technology that Ukraine has pioneered after Russia invaded it. And in fact, Zelensky told an incredible story yesterday about how using purely robotics in a robotic army built by Ukraine, they were able to make significant advances against Russia, saving tens of thousands of Ukrainian lives and obliterating Russian mercenaries and Russian soldiers. And Zelensky saying, we made deals with Arab nations that I guess were once allied with the United States, or I guess they still are in name only, to provide real, durable, nimble protection right there. Then, of course, you have the big victory of Peter Magyar in Hungary with his Tisza party, beating Viktor Orban's Fidesz party. Viktor Orban, Putin's puppet, out. Peter Magyar in, and talking about a much more robust security alliance with Europe. Should also be noted, Spain announced the opening of its embassy, or reopening of it, in Tehran, in Iran, strengthening ties there. And of course, we've seen Pope Leo XIV continuing to stand up against Donald Trump and Trump's despicable regime. And in response to all of the attacks directed at Pope Leo XIV by Donald Trump aboard the papal jet yesterday, Pope Leo XIV said, "I'm not intimidated. I don't even think twice about the ridiculous things that Donald Trump says about me. My job is to look after people, to care about humanity, and I don't worry myself in what Donald Trump is posting on social media or what Donald Trump's behavior is." Should we break this down piece by piece right now? Why don't we do it? Why don't we start with French President Emmanuel Macron announcing that France and the UK are holding a conference of nations willing to participate in a multinational coalition aimed at restoring freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. Macron called it a strictly defensive mission, separate from the warring parties. In other words, Donald, you're fired. Donald, you are not invited to this coalition. This is going to be a coalition that actually looks out for each other and doesn't do whatever the hell that Donald Trump is doing right now. Okay. Take a look right here as the Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Khalid bin Zayed is arriving in China. An incredible state visit right there. And as I mentioned, China's Xi Jinping's talking about durable relationships, strong relationships to provide actual stability in the Middle East. In no subtle terms, Xi Jinping is saying, see you later, Donald Trump. The American security umbrella is over right now. And as we reported earlier today, those Chinese vessels, those Chinese tankers saying, okay, Donald, nice little blockade you got there, Donald, but we're just going to go right through your blockade. See you later, Donald, you weak thing, you weak creature. Prime Minister, I'm not sure what impression that was supposed to be, but sorry you had to hear that. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez of Spain, also in China. And it's not a coincidence you have these world leaders visiting China. China's sat back, let the United States make mistakes. Don't get in the way of your enemy when they're making mistakes and they're crushing themselves. And they're like, okay, new superpower has emerged. That's basically what's happening. Prime Minister Sanchez says, today I visited together an exhibition in China areas with the most innovative products from their brand, from these companies. I conveyed to him that Spain offers competitive industrial and logistic ecosystems for high-level technology cooperation projects between Chinese and Spanish companies. We have talent, reliability, and future opportunities. And then Prime Minister Sanchez says, Europe may seem small on a map, but its weight is decisive. And its unity is a guarantee of stability and prosperity in the world, a world that cannot be understood without China. If in the past, China and Europe knew how to prosper together, there is no reason to do so again. We are called to understand each other. He also posted the following as well in support of Pope Leo XIV. He who sows winds reaps tempests. While some sow the world with wars, Leo XIV sows peace with bravery and courage. It will be an honor to receive him in Spain in a few weeks. So as you all know by now from watching our reports here on the MeidasTouch Network, Pope Leo XIV says that he will not be visiting the United States. He has no interest in showing up here to be around the despicable fascist Trump regime. Italy's Prime Minister Meloni. Trump's words on the Pope are absolutely unacceptable. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz. We will continue to feel the consequences of war in Iran for a long time, even after it is over. We are preparing ourselves for a prolonged period of significant strain on the German economy and therefore also on private households. I was not surprised by the decision to break off the talks in Islamabad. From the beginning, I did not have the impression that they, the Trump regime, were really well prepared. The war in Iran is the actual cause of the problems that we are also now facing in our country. Zelensky, here's what he had to say. We're getting reports back from some of his top generals about the first stage of work with our partners in the Middle East and the Gulf region. Importantly, Ukraine's military expertise is recognized, and the combat experience of our warriors is becoming a strong component of partners' defense. Every nation deserves security, and we are ready to provide prompt and effective support to those who support our state and independence. This applies to protection against attack drones and other UAV types in the air, as well as to addressing maritime security tasks. Ukraine's experience in the Black Sea can also be put to use on other globally important maritime routes. In this stage, Ukraine is in communication on security matters with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Jordan, Turkey, Syria, Oman, Kuwait, and Bahrain. We have received requests for engagement with Iraq. Today, we also discussed prospects for joint work with the countries in the Caucasus, as well as East and Southeast Asia. There were also substantive requests from countries in Africa. We are preparing the basis for deeper security agreements in Europe as well. We expect to achieve results this very week. I have instructed the Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine to finalize drafts of several new security agreements and prepare them for signing. Glory to Ukraine. And just think about it. This is the guy in the country that Donald Trump is attacking. You know why? Because Donald Trump says he loves being around losers. He hates being around strong people. It's why he's so scared and intimidated by Zelensky. Yesterday, Zelensky also announced, for the first time in the war, an enemy position in Russia was captured entirely by ground robotic systems and drones without any infantry. A robot entered the most dangerous zones instead of a soldier and took the positions. The future is here on the battlefield, and Ukraine is creating it. These are our ground robotic systems. For the first time in this war's history, the enemy position was completely taken out. 22,000 Ukrainian lives were likely saved by this important mission right here using robotics. And then I'll play for you this clip right here as Zelensky talks about these defensive military alliances, and he explains how they should be organized. He says, look, Donald Trump keeps whining about leaving NATO. Bye-bye, Donald. Bye-bye. Because here's what we will do. EU, Ukraine, Turkey, Norway, UK. If we assemble that, there will not be any military alliance stronger. You hear that, Donald? Who has the cards now? Here's what Zelensky says. Let's play it.
And if the United States really thinks about how to withdraw from the NATO, what we heard from officials, even officials publicly, that they think about it, all the security in Europe will based only on EU. So we want, for example, you will understand me, we want to be a part of EU, and we will be, I'm sure. But I think that for today, EU is in such a situation when they need some countries. UK, Ukraine, Turkey, Norway. Mm-hmm. There are different questions to each of these countries, according to the laws, internal questions, and etc. But there are 4 strong countries which are part of Europe, and these countries, it's between us, UK, Ukraine, and Turkey, this is the army which will be stronger than the army of Russia. That is the answer.
There you have it, folks. And when I report this news, I just reflect as I'm delivering it sometimes. I don't think this type of information is really out there on American media or any television news network at all. This is the type of stuff we need to be following and seeing. This is information that is critical to our understanding of the world. And it is such an honor to be able to deliver it here. So if you can, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you can do me this favor, will you tell 10 of your friends about the MeidasTouch network today? Just text them, say, hey, watch this pretty complex international analysis by the MeidasTouch network and see if this is something you may be into, because I don't think there's anything else out there like this. Try it, see what they say. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers, and thanks so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.